true love doesn't hurt other people like that.
I know that's right.
You know, when you really love people, when you really love each other and you have people around you, you don't have to hurt others to be in love.
Because this whole thing is very extreme.
It's very extreme.
It's like extreme exposure, extreme. The lawsuit, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. $1.75
million for some.
Yeah, for that person.
I mean, I feel like humans are valuable, but...
Hey guys, welcome to Remarried Love, the best new relationship podcast for everyday men and women who desire to be married again. If this is your first time listening to this show, welcome. This podcast is a safe space to heal from a divorce and grow into a new you. Whether you are recently singled or already remarried, this podcast is for you. We are your hosts, Dee
and Aki,
and we're going to have candid, heartfelt conversations about the journey to a healthy remarriage.
We are so glad you're here. So in today's episode, we're going to be talking about our reaction and our thoughts on this trending TikTok influencer who was ordered by a North Carolina jury to pay $1.75 million in damages because of basically cheating with her friend's husband.
Yeah.
And it's a remarriage. They got remarried now, right? Mm-hmm. She divorced her husband and
he divorced his wife.
And now they're remarried.
So this is not the type of remarriage that we're talking about on this channel.
No, this is not the type of remarriage we think is healthy. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to talk about it today.
Yeah.
All right. When I saw this story come up, I was thinking about what you had told me that you had heard, or this word that you were talking about. And what was that? Tell me again what it was.
Well, let me set up the situation of how I came across this word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because every year we learn something new. And it was interesting to me to hear this word from two different sources. But the first time I heard it, a gentleman was talking about how he was in it. And then another gentleman was telling me about his situation, and him and his wife actually were talking about this word.
Yes.
And it actually surprised me and intrigued me at the same time,
mm-hmm.
because I've never heard of it. When I was younger, I thought about how could a man leave a woman that is a good woman, or how could a woman leave a man who is a good man?
Right. I always think about that.
Yeah. It's what makes them leave? What makes them do that?
I think about that when you see that happen. Not that I always think about it, but when you see a couple and then the guy, in this case, like a guy would leave a good wife,
mm-hmm.
and sometimes he would be with a woman that people would be like,
it's a little questionable.
What, you left her for the,
yeah,
and so this particular situation kind of had me feeling that way.
Well,
I don't know all the background.
Well, I'll tell you, this word actually gives me a little insight as to why someone would do something like that. And I've never heard of the word before.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll set it up. I was looking online for some things that we're dealing with Remarried Love. And then I came across the video of a gentleman talking about his relationship and how he actually left his wife. Yeah. And he was in another relationship. Mm-hmm. He had an affair, and he mentioned this word, and I've never heard of it before. And the word is limerence.
Limerence.
Yes, limerence. Limerence.
Yeah, when you said that to me, you were like, babe, this guy said he was in limerence. And I was like, what is that? That sounds scary.
Yeah, it is a little scary because of what it does and what your mind does when you're in limerence.
So what's the definition?
So the definition of limerence is a state of being infatuated or obsessed with another person, typically characterized by a strong desire for reciprocation of one's feelings, but not primarily for a sexual relationship.
So it's like you just really want to be with that person.
It's not just that, but it's an obsessive behavior regarding that. So
and we were looking it up, like it's not a mental health issue.
It's not a mental health issue.
It's like a strong desire.
It's an obsession. So you're obsessed with someone to such a point that you think about them not just every day, but every minute of every day.
Yeah, and you want that reciprocation. You want that person
to like you, to want you, to be with you.
So you might do anything for that.
Not might, you will do anything for that.
So the gentleman in your case, he was saying that he got into limerence.
Yes.
With another woman.
Yes.
And no matter what his wife did, she couldn't convince him.
Nobody can
help
pull
him.
you. Nobody can really pull you out of limerence. There is a stage, or actually 3 stages of limerence, and we just found that out. But, But the thing about it is that.
What are the 3 stages?
Okay, let's go through the 3 stages of limerence.
What are the 3 stages?
So the 3 stages of limerence are infatuation, crystallization, and deterioration. There's a lot of Asians in there.
That doesn't seem good.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a whole process in each one.
Yeah, so it's like you have a crush. Let me see. It said something about infatuation. You want to spend a lot of time. You're thinking about them. You want to have positive interactions with them. It leads to euphoria. My goodness.
Well, the first stage is an intense obsession for that person.
Yeah.
You're basically infatuated, but it's so intense.
So I wonder in the situation with the TikToker, when she became, because it sounds like she was in limerence, and I don't know if he was too.
I believe they both were, but this happened when they were in high school. This started a long time ago. The infatuation, this intense thing, it happened when they were actually in high school. That's when theirs started, because they actually had, relationship sort of in high school, and they came across each other in high school, and now they're both adults.
Well, the funny thing is that guy didn't have any sort of relationship with that lady. Like he didn't know her in high school.
Well,
there was no
backstory.
Yeah, there was no backstory like this one.
No, she was actually
Well, we don't know really.
We don't actually
really know
anything. Yes.
All we know is what these stages.
You know the back stages, that's for sure. But you don't know the last stage of deterioration because they're not there yet.
The second stage is crystallization. And it says in this stage, the infatuation intensifies and idealization becomes extreme, a process often called putting them on a pedestal.
Yeah, and I think that's where we saw that at least the young woman was in, because she said, I would do anything for him.
Yeah, and it says you only focus on the positive aspects of the person and you ignore their flaws, believing they are perfect or your soulmate.
So she was willing to pay $1.75 million for this guy because of crystallization.
Yeah, your behavior and routines may change to revolve around this person, and you may even neglect your own needs.
Well, she neglected her own marriage, actually.
Yeah. From my understanding, she was married to, she divorced him, and she was online. I guess the big thing about it was that she was online kind of showing how her new relationship was with this man while he was still married.
Yes.
Now, I don't know if she was still married during that time.
Well, she was married, but before that, she was just showing people how she felt about him, and she was married to his cousin. So it was a family thing.
Yeah. So the guy that she remarried, we'll call him Football.
Okay, Mr. Football.
Mr. Football. So Mr. Football was married, and she was infatuated with him.
When she was in high school, she was infatuated with Mr. Football, and Mr. Football, he really wasn't into her at that time.
Yeah, and so he married
another lady.
We were gonna call her Lady.
Yeah.
So he married a lady. I'm just gonna assume she's a nice lady.
Mm-hmm.
They had kids together. I don't know how many.
Yes.
And so he had a whole family thing going.
Yeah, I mean, basically, he graduated from high school, and then he was doing what we all do, which is called life.
Yeah, he's adulting, and they had this family. And so the TikToker was around them. She was with them a lot. Mm-hmm. And that's one thing we were talking about, too. Like, we don't allow unmarried people to stay with us.
Yeah, we don't.
Is that bad? Unmarried adults.
I would say it's not bad. But number 2.
Unless they're seniors.
Well, of course.
Seniors can stay and under 18.
Yes. But no one, of the same generation as us or the same age, we don't do that because that causes, problems. And there used to be a show that would be on TV in the daytime, and people would have bouts because they would have someone of the opposite sex staying in their house.
Yeah.
And they would be away at work, and then things would happen between that person and their spouse or their mate. And there will be fights on stage. And some people know the name of that show. But what I'm trying to say is that bringing somebody into your home is not really a good thing for a marriage that is trying to build bonds.
Well, also, yes, I agree. And one thing they said was that Mr. Football was telling the lady, his wife, that this TikToker needed, a place to stay. And
Well, let me say something about that, because she was saying those things because she lied to him and her
right.
about what her husband was doing. He was not doing anything malicious towards her.
We don't know that.
So what has been stated in the courts was that he really wasn't doing that.
Yeah, all we know is that there was a pull on the wife to help someone. We do know that. That's how she got in the house. Hey, she needs help. Can she stay here?
And who told her that?
Her husband and the lady and the TikToker. And the thing is, when you are being pressured to help, and maybe something inside of her was like, yeah, well, she has family, she has other things, that should be a red flag for you. If your relationship has to be tested in a way where a person is asking you to help out another person of the opposite sex.
Yeah, because having a third party in your marriage for anything except for counseling is usually a tough thing to deal with.
Yeah, it won't. A desperate woman who is hurt that lives with your husband.
And I don't think he was
and
working.
You.
He wasn't working either.
I don't know what they called working or what they were doing or what, but all I know is that I'm trying to think of anyone that could come to you or me and ask us,
can I stay with you?
And they're going through a divorce.
Or
they're going through something. That's a hard, we would probably try to find a place that they could stay, someone that we knew that was single, but having a single, desperate person live in your home.
Not only desperate, but someone who's hurting, supposedly.
Yeah, hurting, desperate.
Yeah, because mentally, anybody who gives someone like that some affection, some trying to encourage them or pick them up, it's almost like you find a stray cat or a stray dog. They're going to look at you like, oh, you're my savior. You're my helper. You're the one I want to be around because you helped me when I was feeling down. And so I'll do anything for you.
Right. Yeah. So they almost want to pay you back, or
I don't think it's about payment, but they will do anything for you.
Yeah. What is that? What I'm trying to say, like, they want to reciprocate the kindness.
Yeah.
In ways. And, I didn't see a lot of men talking about this situation. There's 2 men involved.
Yes.
And I've heard a lot of
women talking
commentary, of women talking about this issue. I really would like to know what men feel about it. I mean, I know what you feel about it. Yeah. And that's how we got to this limerence. Like, you felt that she was in it and maybe he was. If the gentleman, Mr. Football, wanted to be in the limelight, wanted to have some attention, and his wife wasn't giving that, the TikToker had a platform, or I guess she still does. And, he can
Mr. Football
be somebody.
Mr. Football was a clout chaser. He didn't get to go all the way to the NFL.
That happens to a lot of people.
It does happen to a lot of people. And so there was somebody in his circle that had quite a few followers and success in, social media. So he grabbed onto that. And I think that was probably his entranceway into limerence, because he always wanted to be in the limelight or have something, a matter of success in his life. And so when he came across this person again as an adult and she had this success, he was like, wow, he was enthralled with that.
That's kind of sad, because the way that you're describing it is like he doesn't really, the feelings that he's feeling are disguised with her. Like, the feeling is not her heart and not her, it's her,
Yeah. Just like I said, he's a clout chaser and he didn't have it for himself, but someone close to him does. And so he gravitated to that. And so that happens with a lot of people.
And the person that they're cheating with, though, isn't in the limelight.
Correct.
What do you think it is that a man would leave? I still am trying to why would a man leave a wife who is good to him? Because there are stages of winter in a marriage.
Yes. Well, there's stages to limerence as well. And you have to remember that the first stage is an infatuation. You're really infatuated, and then you become obsessed with that. So let's say there's someone who has a body part or a mentality or something that you like, that you're looking at the way they dress, and you're like, wow, I really like that person. They dress like this
You just
all the
start
time.
zoning in.
And exactly.
Yes.
That's what it is. You start to zone in on that feature, on that thing that they
or the
do.
personality trait,
Personality
or something.
trait, the way they make you laugh, to make you feel this certain way. And then it becomes like your mind takes over and plays these scenarios inside of your mind and tells you things that aren't really real. And that's the first stage.
So deep. Like, how can men and women protect themselves from that?
Well, one thing is not to take your eyes off your spouse if you're married, or your partner if you're dating someone. You just don't look around, start comparing, or that's the first thing that you can do, is just to help yourself, is just don't look around, because that'll get you involved in looking at other people, and then you start thinking about what it would be like to be with that person.
Yeah. And I think with young couples, they have kids and everything. That is a stressful time. That's when usually marriages break up, when the kids are young. I wish they had more married couples around them to help them through the stage of, maybe they were disappointed his career didn't go where they thought it was going to go. Maybe they were going through a lot of shifts and changes.
Well, we don't know if he received counseling from not making it into the NFL.
Yeah, we don't know of any of those things, right?
Yeah, that would have been a help for him, because like you said, he could have received help from another couple. The man could have talked to him. He could have talked to other athletes who overcame that situation.
And went into another aspect of the sport they love.
Business. They could have gone into business.
Yeah, he could have done many things in the sport. There's teaching, there's commentating, there's, things that can still bring out the love of the sport if you like it for playing and not for what you receive from it.
Well, they do like it for the playing part. That's why they want to be athletes.
Well, they do like the fame. There is a, kind of stigma and what do you call it? Like, you have some type of status as being the person that wins the games for the whole school. It's like you're carrying a whole community sometimes in towns. And I wonder if there was disappointment that carried over into, I'm disappointed with my marriage, but I'm not really disappointed in my marriage. I'm disappointed in where I thought I would be. And some people think that, hey, if I just change this and end this, my life will be better.
Yeah, I think that he was disappointed in not making it to the NFL, but the chances of making it into one of these high-level sports is pretty much slim, unless you're the guy who basically no one else can touch. So he could have received a lot of counseling and help through another athlete who has been through that same situation.
And this is when, older couples really
mentors.
need to mentor. Mm-hmm. I do wonder if that was happening. But as you were talking about before, sometimes limerence will even block when other people are trying to impart on you, giving you some wisdom, but you're already into crystallization stage. You're like, I have got to have this person. And
you put that person on a pedestal, and now no one can take them off that pedestal.
Yeah, it's like if you thought a career or something would change your life, then maybe he saw her as something that can change his life.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how she got on that pedestal. She can change my life. I think women do that for men. This man is the CEO of this company, or this man is this. I'm dealing with my hometown man.
Or you're trying to just pay your rent.
I'm dealing with hometown girl, and this person can change my life.
Yes.
They're the life changer in the situation. And they're a person that is readily accessible. Like, I can get this person.
Mm-hmm. You can talk to them at any time.
I literally can get this person. And all I have to do, the only kind of like thing in my way is my spouse and my kids and my family.
Yeah. And it's interesting how limerence is a sneaky thing, in my opinion, because in your mind, you think, oh, I'm looking at this and it's something that you wanted. Maybe you didn't want that person, like you said, but you did want the success from somewhere.
or
now,
whatever it is, the success.
Whatever it is. I'm saying success because of this situation.
Yeah, the
attention.
the attention. Because attention is interesting when people want that.
Yes.
And they don't have it anymore.
Or never had it. Some people never had the attention. I think
it's worse when you have it and then it's taken away.
It is worse.
You know what I mean? Like, you've had the attention. You were number one. You were what everyone was talking about. And now nobody's looking for you.
Well, it's kind of like when you were younger and you were in high school and there was the cool person, and then they graduate and nobody's looking at them. In fact, when you see them, they've changed their appearance. It doesn't look as glamorous as they did when they were in high school, or they don't have the kind of money now that they're an adult because they were living off mom and dad, like all of us were.
Yeah.
And now,
pretty much all of us were doing that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So it's not like, oh, they were living off mom and dad. No, everybody was living off mom and dad when they were in high school.
But they seemed really cool. They may have had, cool clothes or a car. I remember in high school, there were some kids who had really nice cars. Yeah. And you definitely know they didn't buy it themselves. Limerence is something that's interesting because the crystallization of being obsessed and then putting somebody on a pedestal, that's the interesting part to me, because now that person can do no wrong. And once someone can do no wrong, that's what they said. You don't even care.
You don't care. Because,
and you don't care. I don't care that he's married.
Yeah. You don't care about
that
anything
he has
else.
Kids.
They can do no wrong at all. That's an interesting phenomenon to me.
I am coming in that situation. Just, as a woman, I would not even want to be with a man who didn't have time to kind of reset himself before he got married again.
Well, you're not in Limerence.
Yeah. But I mean, just to have a mate, we've talked about that. Like, there needs to be a lot of kind of working and healing once you've divorced and then you're ready to get married again, because you're going to bring a lot of stuff in that new marriage.
Yeah. So that's one of the downsides of Limerence in this situation, is the fact that they haven't really gone through the downside, the deterioration part of it, because they don't understand that all of the things that they did to the other people, to the kids, to the other spouses, to the family members, because we didn't even say that she, the woman who was Miss TikToker, was fighting with the other wife's mother. So that was the grandmother. Yeah. And they were having, fights because the grandmother came over to say, hey, you got to leave this house. And Miss TikToker was like, no, I'm not going to leave the house.
Yeah, like it's my house now.
Yeah, like it's their house. She said she's not leaving because the man said, I want you here.
You've probably heard us mention this before.
We were the children of divorced parents, and we both have been divorced ourselves.
And now we're 15 years strong in our remarriage journey. So trust us when we say we get it when starting over and building a new life together. If you're ready to reclaim your power in love, life, and money, I wrote Power Over All just for you. It's real, it's encouraging, and it's meant to walk with you as you heal and grow. There's also a companion journal to help you track your progress and reflect all year long. Grab your copy today and step fully into the power God already gave you. Links in the description. Now let's get back to the episode. And that's interesting that you said that her presence was causing so much confusion.
Yes.
And these reports are saying that the kids are confused. That was mommy's friend, mommy and daddy's friend, or something like that. And now daddy's kissing mommy's friend, and what's going on?
And he's no longer in our house. He's with mommy's friend.
Yeah. And when I first heard about the story, I just thought about the kids. Like, it just made me sad that it seemed so careless. Like, I did feel like the lady was concerned about her kids, and she said it's very hard for her to go out with her children and things like that. But for the man, it didn't seem like there was any compassion.
He had no compassion. He still doesn't at this moment.
Or, sincerity, or just a concern of how that's going to work out for his children, for his seed, for his legacy. And I thought also, this TikToker person seemed to be overly anxious to be the new mom.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I know when I became a stepmom, I wasn't, presenting myself like,
well, you were a stepmother by marriage, but not because you decided, hey, I'm going to replace the biological mom.
Right. I never even felt like that. I never felt like that was my role. I felt like I was like your helper and a mom figure in our home. So,
and that's only when the children were at our house, because they weren't there every day, all the time, every week.
They didn't live with us. So, I mean, I wasn't even trying to claim them like that, like day one. Oh, they're my kids. I didn't even feel like that.
Well, I think that limerence, it's very layered.
Yeah, it's like a stronghold and a chokehold on you.
Yes. On your mind, on your physical body, your thought process, your actions.
Yeah.
It does a lot to a person.
So the guy that you were talking about that was saying he was in limerence, how long did it last?
Well, I'm not sure how long it lasted for him, but I do know that he said that once it wore off, it kind of is like a drug that wears off, and all of a sudden you're like, well, where am I at? And
Wow, yeah.
it's just an interesting thing to see that you were obsessed about someone, and then it wears off on either one person or both of you, and that's because of maybe some kind of unmet expectation that happens, and that causes it to start the process of the deterioration stage.
Did he say like he felt like they both felt it just wore off at the same time? Did he feel like it wore off on him first?
It wore off on the woman first, actually. Now that I remember, it wore off on the woman first, and he was still in limerence, and he didn't understand why she didn't want to be around him. She didn't want anything to do with him, and she was kind of like, what is it when you're pushing someone off?
Just like, I'm
done with you.
I don't like you. Yeah.
Yeah. And so what limerence has is you want to be infatuated with that person at all times. So when one person is not infatuated with the other person, that starts the deterioration stage, and it really affects the person who's still in limerence.
And that's not even sustainable for any relationship to be like high all the time.
I know. That's pretty much what it was.
That would be great. The feelings that we had for each other when we first met each other.
Is that what, I guess that's what some people would say, you're in puppy love. And no, it's a lot more intense than puppy love.
Yeah, because puppy love, even in that, I felt like we could talk about our flaws, we could talk about mistakes, we could see our situation. You know, we just were really like, I like you and you make me happy.
Yeah, you're very happy about finding someone that you really care about and who cares about you. That may be a form of puppy love, but limerence is a lot more intense than that.
It seems like limerence, when you were telling me and we were hearing about it, it seems that it's always some confusion or negative thing around it. The reason why we couldn't be in limerence is because there was no negative. I mean, I guess we could have, but there wouldn't have been any real bad attachments or things we would let go of. It seems like limerence is a pull away from one to another. You know what I mean?
Person,
and so since we weren't dealing with anybody,
it's not like limerence is a pull to a car. It's usually a person to person kind of thing. So,
and it seems like it's a person who is already like attached to someone, and then you're in limerence because you hear about that destroying relationships, destroying marriage. Like it's a word and a spirit associated with destroying marriages.
Well,
or relationships.
I'd like to add to it that it could be that one person is in a relationship and the other person may not be in the relationship, because the first person, the gentleman I was listening to, I don't think that the woman was in a relationship, but he was married.
Oh yeah, she was just in the streets.
Yeah.
And
she was just doing her thing.
She was just in the streets, and she
like, caught his eye, and then he was like, I'm going to forsake everything for her.
Right. That's what I think. That's what I'm saying. Like, it seems like limerence has to deal with, like, you have to forsake something.
Yeah. And that's what happened with the TikTok situation.
Yeah.
They both forsook everything. Yeah, it was forsaken. They both forsook everything for each other.
Yeah.
And that's not a good way to start your relationship.
That's some serious limerence.
Yeah, it's a serious thing.
Because you have to deal with releasing those soul ties. You have to deal with the backlash, the public backlash.
Eventually.
You have to deal with, again, the children. You have to deal with in-laws. You have to deal with so much stuff that most relationships don't even have to do that when you just come together, like, without all of that.
I would think that if you're in limerence, it should be with your spouse. you're just
But
infatuated.
but
You
it's
have
not.
an
It's not
obsessive-
even.
I wouldn't
in
say
there.
obsessive. I don't like that word personally, but I would say you have an
That's what it
intense feeling of love and respect and honor, and you want to be with your spouse.
But no love word was used to describe limerence.
No,
Because
there's not
I don't
love.
think obsession and not seeing the whole person is love.
No, it's like,
You know what I mean?
It's like you're super focused or hyper focused on a small percentage of that person. Let's say it's 5%, and now you have 95% of them that is the reality of life
Right.
that you're not really dealing with.
Yeah.
So limerence would be that 5%, and then reality of life is the 95%.
I've heard some people say that like after they cheated and they were getting away with it, it was kind of in the dark. As soon as it was brought to the light, it was kind of like, I'm done.
Well, you're done because you got caught, but
No, really, like some people go back into it even when they get caught, but it's a weird thing to have to hurt so many other people to love.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I felt like when I met you, no one was hurt
No.
because we were loving each other.
Well, we were building a firm foundation. First of all, I didn't have anybody in my life. You didn't have anybody in your life. And we were trying to build what's called a bond with each other. So we were trying to learn each other and grow into knowing who each other is and becoming one with each other.
Yeah, I feel for anyone who gets remarried in a hasty situation.
Yeah.
I would not recommend anyone saying, "Hey, I want to get married."
And you're not knowing who that person is.
Hey, well, you know who they are, but you don't care. Or something you're like, "Well, I don't care that he's on drugs. I don't care that he has 3 baby mamas. I don't care." But you do. You do. And the funny thing about it is that sometimes people either hold that second marriage to such a high standard, like this new spouse better have this, that, or it's like these extremes. Then the second person you marry doesn't have to have any standards. It's like weird. Like, well, your first husband, you wanted him to be kind and loyal and this and that
and love you.
But your second husband, he doesn't have to have.
Well, he doesn't have to jump through all those hoops.
No, he just has to be who you want.
But that could be a form of limerence as well, because like I said, one person can be in it and another person cannot be in it. But it really doesn't go its full course in intensity unless both parties are in limerence.
And it seems like they both are.
Yeah.
Because I would always kind of ask myself, who do I want to spend the rest of my life with? Right. And who would be down for me? When I was re-singled, the time after the divorce, there were times where men who were married approached me and they would say, "Oh, we're separated. I'm this, I'm that," and I'd be like, "Well, are you married?" I didn't even want to start down a road with them because I don't want my foundation to be with someone who was dipping out and the marriage wasn't completely over.
Well, you can't really trust someone who's cheating on their spouse to be faithful to you. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't even know how people think that.
Yeah, well, some do, but they're surprised in the end.
It's like we literally got together because we were cheating.
Yeah,
and
that doesn't
that's
ever
the
work out,
foundation of our marriage.
Well, that's actually what happened with this TikTok situation, is that they were cheating. They were doing things in the dark, in the booth, in the back, in the corner, and now it's open.
Well, I thought they were doing it in front of their spouses.
Well, and then they started doing it with their spouses because they ended up in limerence, and so they're in the 3 stages of limerence right now. And it's not.
No, they're in the second stage.
I believe they're in the second stage.
The crystallization.
Right now. Crystallization of. They can do no wrong. I'm going to put them on a pedestal, and they are the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah, but when that deterioration comes, I feel sad because sometimes it kind of sets you up that people will really get extreme.
Yes, that is true. Because you got to be careful.
Because this whole thing is very extreme.
It's very extreme.
It's like extreme exposure. Extreme, the lawsuit, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. $1.75
million for some.
Yeah, for that person.
I mean, I feel like humans are valuable, but that's a lot to pay.
That's part of the intensification of this process.
Everything around these people seem to be kind of extreme. She physically has extremeness.
Yes.
The way that 2 marriages got destroyed is extreme. The way
that's the sad part.
The
to
children,
me.
It was a lot for so-called love. That's why this Limerence was just so eye-opening.
Well, one of the things I don't like about Limerence is the fact in this situation that we're talking about.
Yeah.
They both are bonding and thinking that they are creating such a strong bond with each other that it's love. And they are neglecting the children in this relationship. They are neglecting other family members in this situation. So really, nobody is getting any benefit from it except for them as a couple, supposedly.
Yeah, like you can bond in pride.
You can bond in just about anything with someone.
And it's intense. Ego and pride is an intense emotion. So you're feeling these intensities and you're thinking, oh, this is some real love, or this got my blood boiling and I'm all these feelings, but it's not love.
It's not love, but you can call it whatever you want. True love doesn't hurt other people like that.
I know that's right.
When you really love people, when you really love each other and you have people around you, you don't have to hurt others to be in love.
Yeah, you usually can tell that the love is going in a good,
the right direction.
Yeah, the right direction when other people are like encouraged, motivated,
and built up.
Yeah, they feel kind of happy. They're happy that you're happy. And it's not just that you have to like wait and get validation from other people.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, but you can really kind of gauge where you are what does your connection with this person bring to other people? Not just haters. I'm talking about really people that are around you that will be immediately affected by you. I need to pray for the whole situation involved.
Well, you're going to have a lot of prayer. There's a lot of things going on with that. And once they get to the deterioration stage, there's going to be a lot of sadness. A lot of people are going to need healing, and they're going to be in pain. The children are going to be in pain because they're going from house to house. And, these 2 people who have been in limerence for this length of time, they're going to need some help because they have hurt other people. Now they are hurt. And they're going to be looking for sympathy from others. And I'm not sure how much sympathy they're actually going to get.
And I wonder how they're going to go through their season of when your marriage isn't as exciting as you wanted it to be.
Because every marriage is tested, as we've said before.
And every marriage goes through that.
They all go through it.
We've gone through that.
Yeah.
And you're just like, man, this is...
the people listening have gone through it. Their relationships have gone through lots of different ups and downs.
And you have to learn how to renew yourself, renew your relationship, renew your vows, renew that connection, like constantly.
Your bonds. You have to constantly bond with each other.
And one thing that you have said that really is important is you cannot compare. I can't stress that enough because you will always see something.
You'll always see something
glittering.
Glittering a little bit better. I'm not going through that, but look at what they have. Look what they're doing with each other. Look at how much money they have. Look at the clothes they're wearing.
Look at the new car.
Look at the toys. Yeah.
Ooh, look at her. Look at him.
Look at their bodies.
Look at that.
Wow.
Ooh, look at her. Yeah.
If you want to compare, you can compare all day.
Because everybody's gonna have this like looking better. It seems like it's better, but it doesn't mean that it's better for you.
Exactly.
When you find somebody that's good and that's true and that loves you
for who you are, and maybe
and the bad. Like
I was gonna say, and how you are, because some people understand that there is love that can overcome any situation. It's not to say that you're going to stay in that situation and be the person that you are. If you're not a good person, you're striving to be a better person. You're working actively and you're using practical tools and resources and steps to step up your game in life and in your relationship. But if you are a person who's just going to stay how you are, you can't expect really people to stay there with you and just wallow in your misery, because misery loves company, but it doesn't have to be you that's staying there with the company. You don't have to have limerence in your life because you're growing and bonding together.
Well, that's how you're saying you can protect yourself from it.
Yes.
Is keep your eyes on the goal of your marriage.
Yeah, and where you guys want to go.
Right. Yeah. Like we want to be more caring towards each other. We want to be more of this to each other. And if you're looking outside of your marriage, and if you're looking outside anyway, you're always going to see something. But if you look inside, if you look to your spouse, if you look inside your marriage, you can see some wonderful things there that you didn't see before.
Well, I just had a thought that sometimes some people don't want to look inside of their marriage because they feel like their marriage is not where they really thought they would be in life.
Well, I think that's a skill everyone is going to have to learn. When you are not where you thought you were going to be, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Do you drop everybody? Like, oh my gosh, I didn't lose the weight that I wanted to lose. I didn't get the promotion I want. I wasn't in the space I wanted to be. I mean, that is an adulting situation.
Yeah, you have to grow up, and
What do you do when it doesn't go your way?
When things don't work out the way you thought it was,
yes,
you can make another plan. You can alternate,
like when
you can change, you can redirect.
You thought you were going to have children. You didn't. You thought you were going to have whatever it is. Like, there has to be more than one plan that you have. I don't know if it's a backup plan, but it has to be something that includes your spouse.
Well, this is why I said it could be an alternate plan, or it could be a redirected plan, not necessarily a backup plan, but it can be a plan that now we're going to go through 250A or 250B. You know how sometimes you have those exits?
Yeah.
And they have an A and a B and a C. Sometimes
it's like we're still going to kind of go there, but it might be B takes you around and A.
Yeah.
And it's good to recalibrate with your spouse, like to communicate with them. Hey, I really thought I was going to be here or at this spot, and I didn't make it.
Or we didn't make it. Because it's not just
usually that's the thing. It's the selfishness.
Yes.
And that's why one of the spouses dips or, turns away, because it was something inside of them. Correct. It wasn't a we.
Yeah.
It was something.
I was just thinking as a more mature spouse.
Yeah, but you're seasoned.
Well, I appreciate that.
You're seasoned.
But
so
the thing is, I'm still not perfect, but I am.
You got to go back to our old. Well, we don't really can go back, but
yeah, I'm not going back.
Yeah,
no, I don't want to touch it because I don't want anything getting on me.
When you were young, and we had a lot of goals, because for our whole life, that's all we were doing. Like, oh, what's your 5-year plan, and where are you going to be, and what do you want to do? And so we were kind of trained to just think for ourselves, plan for ourselves.
Also, when we were younger, we didn't realize all the things that the real world had for us. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is that we didn't know about taxes, that we had to pay it every year, and it took it out of your check, and you had to pay for tax in the United States for just about everything that you do.
Every single thing.
And nobody thinks about that.
I didn't know you got taxes on, you were taxed on your bonuses at work. When I first got my a bonus, or they'll say, oh, like you got $100 bonus Christmas bonus, or whatever.
And then you open up the pack,
and it was like, why is it $84.27?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Or whatever it was. You're like, they taxed me on my bonus? I thought it was a bonus.
Yeah.
I was so upset about that. But I mean,
Uncle Sam touches everything.
Yeah. I just thought that this whole conversation was like really good about remarriage, and this was kind of like the case study of remarriage gone wrong.
Well, I wanted to say that
not this way.
Yeah, we're not in agreement with the TikToker and Mr. Football getting married. Don't do that. This. Because they destroyed. They destroyed their other relationships in order to marry each other.
Yeah, and I think they did it hasty, so they wouldn't have to say anything against each other in court or something. I don't know how that works. Every state is different with their laws about marriage and testifying and all of that. But the hastiness, the extreme, the limerence. I haven't heard a lot of people, talk about this. I want to encourage people to pray for them. At the end of the day, this is not good.
It's not good for them. It's not good for the children. It's not good for their in-laws. Everybody is affected. And it seems like a lot of people around the United States, at least who have heard this, they're feeling it because they think about their own situations. What if I did that? What if somebody around me did that? What if my spouse did that? What if my boyfriend or girlfriend did that? It's affecting a lot of people because everybody wants to know, like, are you loyal to me? How could this happen?
And I feel bad because she is a TikToker and she kind of has to stay on social media for her livelihood.
Well, yeah.
Which we have recommended for people to just get off social media when you're going through healing. Just take a break.
You need a space to be built up. You need a non-threatening space, meaning that you don't need any more stress. You don't need any more comments that are coming your way, opinions. So you need a non-threatening space to just be able to heal and build yourself up, or be built up by another person who has the right to do that in your life. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you're right. You just have to just stay off of social media, stay off the news, stay away from anything that's going to take your mind from your healing process.
And I would even suggest, if they really are trying to make this marriage work, that they need to get away from the environment that is like pumping this relationship up. Well, their environment is the reason.
Toxic.
Yeah.
And right now they also would need some counseling. They need help because they can't do it on their own.
No.
So they definitely need another couple who is strong enough to be able to give them the truth that they need. But then they're going to be held liable or responsible for listening to it and adhering to the things that they hear about regarding the truth. Because getting rid of your spouse to marry someone else because of your insecurity or something inside of you,
lust or
that
ego
is a lust
or desire,
exactly, a strong obsession, that is not going to be fruitful for your new marriage. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you that right now, because every marriage is tested, and you're not going to be able to pass that test if you don't learn something new.
Yeah. Ambition is interesting too, because I think that's part of what they got going on. So, when we were looking up limerence, what type of people are more prone to get into limerence?
Well, even though limerence is not a mental health issue, certain mental health conditions like OCD, ADHD, or people who are just prone to wanting dopamine effects, they are actually prone to limerence.
They're more likely to fall into that.
Yeah.
Other things that are listed here are that childhood trauma or neglect, loneliness, stress, and life transitions are also people that would be more prone to fall into limerence.
And it's saying that you're more prone to it. It doesn't mean that you will fall into limerence.
Yeah.
It's not saying 100% you're going to be in limerence.
No,
if you
it's
have
just
one
saying
of these
that
things.
these kind of personalities or things that have
symptoms,
happened to you. I like this one that says experiencing stress or drifting in life without clear goals can make one more vulnerable.
Yeah,
that's to anything, isn't it?
Well, drifting will get you in trouble because you're not thinking about anything with a clear beginning and end vision.
Yeah.
You're just drifting along.
You're just like, I'm going to live my life.
Yeah, I'm going to live my life. And then you focus on something, and then you see something you think you want, and then you hyper focus on it. It's because you don't have a goal.
Anything else.
Yeah, you don't have anything that you're supposed to be doing. And as a man, I'll tell you from a man's standpoint, we need to have something, a God-given goal, talent, skill, things that he's given us to do on this planet before we leave the planet.
Yeah.
And so that helps us not to fall into limerence.
Into just anything.
Yeah, you don't want to fall for anything because you're doing something, your purpose. You're doing what God has called you to do in your life.
And I think that can fill the void if you feel at some time, being with my wife or being with my husband, I feel like I'm missing out on something. And it's like, well, you wouldn't feel that way if you had a clear vision or goal and you're like, okay, I need to stay on this path with my spouse until, maybe my feelings shift and my feelings change again.
The interesting thing about this is that it's not going to be a negative thing for you to stay on that path, because that is something that you were called to do from your life as who you are as a person, because you know that you have the skills, you have the ability, you have the drive to do this thing. So you don't have to go somewhere else to fill your dopamine or get your dopamine effect.
Yeah. I mean, this is just getting deeper and deeper. The whole situation, these stories that we've heard, because we lived a majority of our life never hearing that.
I've never heard of this word before.
In our community, we never heard. I never heard of it.
I've never heard. Yeah.
I've heard, you hear stories about so-and-so leaving so-and-so for this person and that, and people would talk about it, but no one would really say why.
Well, people didn't have an understanding of why.
And it seems like from what we are like researching and kind of learning, that there's no way to get someone out of it.
They have to kind of,
it's like once you get in it, you have to run the course.
Yeah, just take its course.
Oh my gosh.
On your life. And then by that time, it has destroyed so many things that you called or wanted at one time to be sacred.
So if you get into limerence, I mean,
it's going to tear something up.
There's no way to get out of it.
Well, you have to get out of it on your own if you can, because it gives you a dopamine effect. It really just stimulates you. It's like you said earlier, you're being stimulated 24/7.
Because your mind is thinking about it.
It's hyper focused. It's hyper obsessed.
Maybe the only way you can get out of it is like you just completely like leave the environment, take like 1 week off of just like not being, not having all this stimulation from your everyday life.
Also not being around that person.
Yeah, but who could do that?
And you know what's funny? You did say the truth, because you can get away from limerence by getting away. You can stop limerence and its stages if you just leave. If you go away.
Not leave your spouse.
Well, no, I'm not saying leave your spouse, but I'm saying you have to leave from that person and leave away. You can't have contact with them. You can't come in contact with anything that reminds you of that person or the situation. You just got to stop cold turkey.
So you can go through what deterioration is that? Was that the third one?
Deterioration.
You can force it on yourself.
Yes, you're actually making a forced deterioration stage.
I'm going to go in stage 3 of limerence, and that's deterioration. I'm going to end it myself.
You know what? Now that you've heard of that word and you understand what it is, you actually know what to do to get yourself out.
Well, the person's going to feel a sense of loss. They're going to be very sad. Mm-hmm. I mean, either way, if you get into limerence, there's going to be some sadness. The extreme on the front end is going to cause an extreme on the back end.
It is going to cause an extreme on the back end. And usually, if you're married, your spouse has felt that pain.
Yeah.
They didn't walk through this journey with you and not feel anything because you weren't with them.
Yeah, your mind and heart was with someone else.
Exactly. Your heart, and you can always feel when you're close and you have a good relationship, let's say we do.
We do.
Like we do. And let's say one of our hearts and our communication and everything else was somewhere else. The other person is going to feel that.
I can feel it when you're just on your phone and not really listening.
And
you do that to me. Like, I can feel it right then. Hey,
I'm on my phone, babe. I'm not even talking to you.
No, you're right. Yeah. You're not even listening. I'm not even there to you.
Yeah, that's anybody who's on phone. That's why social media, sometimes you have to get away from it. You have to stop it. You have to not turn it on at all.
Yeah, and that's like, you might be looking at something for work. I couldn't even imagine how it would feel if I could tell that you weren't listening to me, you weren't seeing me, you weren't hearing me because of another woman.
Or touching you. And that's what happens, is that, I have nothing to do with you because I'm hyper obsessively focused on this other person.
And then it's going to cause trouble with us, which will reinforce the lie that like we're having problems.
Yes.
Well,
it's like a circle. That's crazy.
It is.
Isn't it?
It's not good.
No, but I do like the fact of if you are in it, you know how to get out of it, and that is to basically. How
would you know though?
Well,
it doesn't seem. It doesn't seem like
problem.
Once you're in it that you know because you're high.
Yeah.
You don't that's the scary part of it.
You have to be a person who understands yourself and the relationship that you currently have to know that something is off. And once you know that something is off, you push away from the thing you think is, or you push away from many things.
Right.
Hoping that one of those things may be something that's coming in between you two. So I'm push away from all of those so I can focus on my relationship.
Kind of sort it out. Yeah. Or you can kind of see like what is happening.
Yeah, exactly. So you're refocusing yourself.
You have to really be mature for that.
You have to be a mature person.
Or you have to either have wise counsel to go to your quiet place.
Yes.
Or you have to be very self-aware, like something is wrong because I am feeling so much about this person that it's not healthy for me.
Well, if you're a person who understands that you should have a quiet place, because you have to take all the voices in this world and sometimes you have to shut them up.
Yeah.
In order to listen and hear correctly and focus on your next step and what you need to do with your life, because you don't want to be a wrecking ball and you're walking through this life destroying everybody's else's life and what they're doing.
Yeah.
And especially children. You really don't want to do that to the kids because they become adults. And now they're adults with emotional scars because somebody else was in limerence. Wow.
And it's on, social media. Like, we didn't grow up like that.
No, we didn't.
Whatever happened with our parents in the divorce, I don't have any record of it. None. I don't have any pictures, video, social media posts, Instagram. It wasn't on Twitter. It just, whatever happened between them.
It just happened between them.
They had to work that out. Grandparents, everything. So,
but now something can be on social media for the rest of your life, your children's life, and your grandchildren's life, because it can be pulled up by someone if you go into politics or do something. You want to do
or
something great in your life.
Let's say I want to do something, and then I look up, and some people are showing me, look at your parents.
Yeah.
Look, is that your mama? Is that your daddy?
Yeah.
Is that your stepmom? I mean,
I definitely don't want that to happen. I want to have a good legacy, and I want us to have a good legacy for our children and our grandchildren.
Well, yeah, we will. I mean,
that's the course that we're on.
I don't know if any child likes their parents on social media.
No.
I mean, it depends on what they're doing, but I've been thinking about those kids, and I pray that they'll have peace. There'll be some type of reconciliation, and it have to be some type of
well, reconciliation is a big word with a lot of steps that have to happen before that happens.
I'm not talking about necessarily reconciliation between Mr. Football and the lady. I'm saying
you're talking about his ex-wife, right?
Yeah, I'm talking about between the kids and their parents. When you come to that point where you have to forgive your parents, we went through that.
Yeah.
When your parents get divorced, at some point you can't keep holding that over their head.
No, because you're going to have your own relationship, and you have to learn how to give grace, give forgiveness, overcome situations, and grow up.
And so their kids are already now on that trajectory.
Yes.
There's going to have to be a time where they're going to come to themselves, and they have to realize, this is what my mom did, or this is what my dad did, and I have to deal with it and forgive them and move on.
Yeah.
So those are our thoughts.
This was a great conversation, and I'm glad that we took time to learn about the situation that they went through, and also to be able to help other people and give a word or definition to what this possibly could be.
Right.
So that, others can understand how to not fall victim or trapped in this situation.
Yeah.
And we want you to know that you can have a happy, healthy remarriage. We'll see you in the next episode.
Bye-bye.